In the beginning of the drama, we see Wushu struggling in the meeting because of her socks. In the next scene, Miss Hu gives a responsibility to all her employees, but all the workers make excuses. And in the end, Wushu gets this task because she double struggles to make everyone happy. She does all this because she is the team leader. A year ago, Wushu had heard the boss talking about making her the team leader. But Miss Hu says, this way, Wushu's talent will be wasted. Because of this, she is not made the team leader. In the next scene, her co-worker Chao calls Wushu and says, order food. Wushu says, I am busy. But Chao does not listen to her at all. Wushu orders the food, but because she is busy with work, she is not able to deliver the food, because of which Miss Hu scolds her and says, Wushu, how irresponsible you have become. But Wushu does not say anything to save her coworker Chao. And in the end, Miss Hu says, work properly, your boyfriend Hao is so hardworking, don't bring shame to his name. In the next scene, we see Wushu's boyfriend Hao, who is 28 years old and is a very responsive person. He was made the young director. It is also assumed that Hao will be made the vice president. In the next scene, Wushu is with her boyfriend Hao, who is drinking with his employees. Wushu silently stands beside him. In the next scene, we see a scene from 10 years ago where Wushu and her family are shifting to another city. Wushu's mom is putting things into the bag. Wushu tells her mom to renovate the house, but her mom says no. Wushu says, Dad would have come alone. What was the need for us to come? Her mom says, then who would have taken care of Dad? The next day, Wushu asks her parents for winter clothes for school, but they were not unpacked yet, and she goes to school in the dress itself. In the next scene, all the girls in the school call her an attention seeker. She's wearing this dress in such cold weather. Now the teacher makes Wushu sit in class with monitor Shiye, because of which her classmate Xiaolan is not happy at all. Now, while leaving school, Wushu was taking things from a shop when a classmate comes to her and says, behave properly, change your dress from tomorrow, and also change your seat. Wushu shouts and says, I will not do this. The teacher gave me this seat. Whoever has a problem should go and talk to the teacher. The next day, Wushu goes to school wearing the uniform. There, boys are playing basketball, including Shiye. Wushu also plays basketball with them and plays very well, because of which Shiye and Wushu become good friends. Xiaolan does not like this, and she spreads the rumor throughout the school that Wushu was expelled from her previous school because of bad behavior. All the students start looking at her with strange eyes. In the next scene, the teacher tells Xiaolan to inform the students about the venue change for the speech. When Xiaolan sees Wushu happy in the class, she tells some boys in the school, you trouble Wushu. In the next scene, Wushu is alone in the ground because she does not know the venue has been changed. Xiaolan tells everyone on call but does not inform Wushu. Wushu is looking for everyone. Just then, the boys arrive. Meanwhile, Shuye is calling everyone's names, and when he doesn't see Wushu there, he goes to the ground. Now Shuye is bringing Wushu, so the boys beat him up, and it becomes a very big fight, which was the reason for Wushu's behavior change. Now Shuye's hand gets fractured. Wushu and the boys are suspended from school. When Wushu's dad finds out about this, he scolds and beats her a lot, but Wushu does not accept her mistake. Now Dad tears her dress and says, you're a girl. How can you play basketball? And breaks things in Wushu's room. Wushu cries and says, I didn't do this. In the next scene, Shuya's mom tells him to change his seat, and Shuya says in front of the whole class, teacher, please change my seat. I'm not able to study properly. Now Wushu had to write a self-review and apologize. Then the director tells Wushu to go to a room and apologize on the mic. Wushu says sorry, and the director leaves. After she leaves, Wushu tells the whole story on the mic. In the next scene, Wushu runs to the bicycle stand, where Xiaolan is standing, and she says to Wushu, because of you, Shuya couldn't take the exam, and because of you, the teacher was embarrassed at school. Hearing this, Wushu feels guilty. In the next scene, the principal calls Wushu's mom and says, you didn't give your daughter good values. Wushu's mom just cries and says, sorry, and she keeps crying all the way back. This affects Wushu's behavior a lot, and she says, from now on, I will make everyone happy. And for these 10 years, she had been living like that. Now, in the present scene, her boyfriend Hao brings a cake for Wushu's birthday. Wushu is very happy. Hao gives her flowers and says, she's my woman. She's a bit delicate, but take care of Wushu when I'm not around. Wushu says, you're going away? Hao says, yes. In the next scene, Wushu and Hao are in the car. And Wushu says, can you stop calling me your woman and delicate? Because everyone thinks I'm dependent on you. Hao doesn't care and says, so what if you're dependent on me? I've spoken to someone to get your new project started. You talk to that person. Wushu doesn't like this and says, I'll do this myself. I don't need anyone's help. Hao says, you don't need to waste time. Spend time with me. When they reach home, she tells Hao, "You go. I want to be alone today." Now, while eating, Wushu is talking to her friend Lan. Wushu says, "Hao insults me in front of friends and tells me to bring cigarettes while drinking." Lan says, "Can't you leave him?" She says, "When I joined the marketing job, Hao's mom helped me and now everyone thinks I'm here because of Hao." In the next scene, Wushu meets the person who was supposed to design the project. Wushu explains the project, so the person says, "My junior will handle this." Saying this, he leaves. Now, Wushu says to the junior, "I'll do this myself." The junior says, "I'm getting paid for this," and says, "Didn't you recognize me?" Wushu says, "No." Then the junior says, "I'm Shiye." Hearing this, she becomes very happy. Wushu works day and night and prepares the presentation. The chairman sees everyone's designs at the company, but he likes Wushu's design. In the next scene, Chao overhears someone talking that their team's design has been selected. Now Chao runs to Wushu and says, "Someone has come to meet you and is creating a problem." Wushu goes downstairs, and just then, Miss Hu gets a call from the chairman and comes to call Wushu, but Chao says, "She's not here, so I'll go. I made this project." Chao behaves in front of the chairman as if he made the entire project. Now Wushu realizes that this is a drama. She goes to the chairman and Chao says, "She's just a girl, I did all the work." Saying this, he ends the conversation. Now both of them return to the apartment and Wushu says, "Why did you do this?" But Chao acts as if Wushu took his credit. Now a colleague says, "Wushu, talk to your Hao." Now Wushu goes to Hao, who is in a meeting. Wushu listens to their conversation, and they're saying that Wushu made the design and it got selected. Hao says, "She's my woman, and she doesn't have that much ability." Hearing this, Wushu walks away. When Wushu returns home, she sees Shuya riding a bicycle on the road. She follows him and reaches a place where a stand-up comedy show is happening, and Shuya is there to perform. He tells a story related to Wushu in a funny way, but Wushu doesn't hear it properly. She goes up on stage and says, "The girl Shuya is talking about, that's me." Then she starts talking about her boyfriend Hao and what kind of person he is. Everyone starts laughing at the awkward and odd things Wushu shares. Shuya listens to her and feels genuinely happy. He says, "This is the real Wushu." As Wushu realizes this, she starts to leave, but the club owner stops her and offers her a chance to perform. Wushu declines and walks out. Then the owner asks Shuya for her number. In the next scene, Wushu tells her friend Lan everything over the phone, including the stand-up comedy part and the offer she got. Her friend advises her not to accept it and says, "I'll be coming to stay with you in a few days." Wushu feels very happy hearing that. She tries to sleep, but all the thoughts keep her awake through the night. The next night, Wushu takes a shower and tries to sleep, but again she can't. The following day, during a meeting, while Miss Hu is discussing something, Wushu unintentionally makes a sarcastic comment. Miss Hu scolds her harshly, and Wushu apologizes and gets back to her work. The next night, Wushu drinks and tries to sleep, but still can't. The next morning, she's in very bad shape. In the next scene, Chao gets promoted. Hao calls Chao into the office and makes him the team leader. Wushu is shocked to hear this, but she says nothing. Later, Pang hands Chao some receipts, but there are errors in them, and Chao yells at him. Hearing all this, Wushu can't hold her emotions and says, "You're so shameless. All of this was done by me and Pang, and you became team leader by taking my credit." Chao replies, "That's not true. I became team leader through my own ability." Wushu says, "No, you met the chairman in my place and that's why you got the position." In the next scene, Hao invites Wushu to dinner. When Wushu arrives, Hao asks, "What's wrong with you? You don't look okay." Wushu replies, "I haven't slept for 3 days." Hao says, "I couldn't believe what happened today until the manager told me." Wushu says, "It's all real." Hao says, "What Chao did was wrong, but you should just forget it." Wushu says, "No, even Miss Hu supported him." Hao says, "She had to, for the company. You just wait 2 more years, I'll become vice manager, and then you can do whatever you want." In the next scene, Wushu is heading home and sees a stand-up comedy show happening on the way. She sits there. The comedian is talking about people who keep hurting themselves to please others. This reminds Wushu of her own condition. Just then, Wushu receives Hao's apology letter, which he was supposed to read publicly the previous day. Seeing this makes her very sad. At home, she tries to sleep but can't. The next morning, she sees herself falling back into her old state, sleep-deprived and emotionally exhausted. In the next scene, Wushu is sitting in a meeting, looking completely drained. At the end, Miss Hu gives everyone work assignments and then tells Wushu to apologize. When Wushu opens the apology letter, she sees her old self in it. She decides not to read the letter and instead speaks her mind. How can someone just walk in and take credit for another hardworking employee's work? "I'm not going to apologize." Miss Hu says, "Okay," and dismisses the meeting. In the next scene, Wushu is sleeping peacefully on the bus because she has finally let everything go. In the last scene, Wushu is in the car with Hao. Hao says, "Why didn't you say sorry? I had to apologize because of you." Wushu says, "Why did you do this?" "Because of you. Everything I said to stand up for my rights has gone to waste." Hao yells at her, "I make all the decisions and they are always right." Wushu replies, "I can do everything for myself. I don't need anyone's help." Saying this, she gets out of the car. In the next scene, Wushu sees an email in the office, the one manager Hu had mentioned, about selecting an employee to transfer to another branch. Wushu applies for it. Miss Hu is shocked to see this. Wushu says, "I'm doing all this to build my own identity and I have to do it." Miss Hu asks, "Did you talk to Hao?" Wushu replies, "I don't want to work as Hao's girlfriend. I'm doing this for myself." Neither of them is ready to agree with the other, but Miss Hu says, "Okay." After Wushu leaves, Miss Hu calls Hao's mom and tells her everything. Now Hao's mom is sitting in the office. As soon as Wushu arrives, she meets her and says, "Come to our house for dinner today. It's been a long time." Wushu doesn't feel comfortable but replies, "Okay." In the next scene, Wushu is sitting at Hao's house. Hao's mom and dad are cooking. Hao arrives but ignores Wushu. While everyone is having dinner, Hao's mom starts talking. She says, "I got a call from Miss Hu. She told me that Wushu has applied for a transfer to another city branch." Hao is shocked to hear this. Then Hao's mom says, "You shouldn't do this. How will you both live alone?" Wushu explains her reason. Hao's mom says, "One of you has to sacrifice for the children, so let it be you." Wushu doesn't like this, but she says nothing. Later, Hao drops her home, but they don't speak on the way. They stop contacting each other and get busy with their daily lives. One day, Wushu is talking to Lan. Lan asks, "How long has it been since you two last spoke?" Wushu says, "It's been a week, and it'll end tomorrow." Lan asks, "How?" Wushu explains, "Tomorrow, Hao and his family will find out that I never withdrew my name from the transfer list. The list is coming out tomorrow." In the next scene, the list arrives, but Wushu doesn't find her name in it. She goes to Miss Hu and asks. Miss Hu says, "Hao had your name removed. He said you two had already talked." In the next scene, Hao's friend Zhang Yan sees him in the car. He's about to say hi but sees Wushu and Hao fighting. He drives away. Now Wushu is walking away. Hao says, "Be ready tomorrow. We have to attend a wedding." The next day, Hao comes to pick Wushu up, but she's playing basketball. Hao calls her, and Wushu says, "I'm not going." Hao says, "The chairman and other colleagues will be there too." Wushu can't refuse after hearing that. Hao takes her to the wedding in casual clothes. At the wedding, Hao asks her to greet the chairman. When Wushu starts introducing herself, Hao cuts her off and says, "She's my girlfriend." Later, during the wedding, Wushu gets a call from Lan. "I've landed." Wushu asks her to come to the wedding hall. Then, it's time for the bouquet toss. Hao sends Wushu. When the bouquet is tossed, all the girls step back, and it falls in front of Wushu. The host asks, "When will you marry your boyfriend?" Wushu says, "We haven't talked about that yet." The host says, "How can that be?" Then the host asks for her boyfriend's name. Everyone says Hao. Hao steps forward with a ring and proposes to Wushu. Wushu says, "Isn't this all happening too fast?" Hao says, "I won't get up until you say yes." The chairman is very happy. Wushu hesitantly accepts the proposal. In the next scene, Wushu is drinking and puts the ring in her purse. Hao comes to her. Both of them are in a bad mood. Wushu knows why Hao did all this, to impress the chairman. Wushu starts leaving, but remembers she left her purse inside. When she goes back, no one is there. Wushu picks up her purse and goes on stage, lifts the bouquet and says, "I should never have come here. I've become a puppet for everyone." Then she imagines Hao and says, "This proposal wasn't even for me. It was for the chairman." Wushu says, "Then go marry her." She continues, "Being with you, I was the one who sacrificed." As she starts to leave, Lan arrives. Wushu takes her into the room. When Hao opens the door, Wushu gives the ring back and breaks up with him. Lan sees all this and feels very happy. The next morning, Wushu is cheerful and steps out with Lan to start her new life. First, she buys a short skirt from a shop, something Hao never allowed her to wear. Then they play basketball and later sit in a cafe drinking coffee. At night, while heading home, Wushu spots the same bar where she once did stand-up comedy. Lan encourages her to perform again. Wushu goes to talk to the bar's owner. While she's talking, Lan stands alone. Shuye is performing on stage, and Lan can't take her eyes off him. After Shuye's act, Wushu performs. After the show, everyone is sitting together. The owner, named Gao, introduces Wushu and Lan. He tells Wushu, "You perform really well. Keep doing this. We'll teach you." Wushu says, "I'll think about it." Gao adds, "Anyway, we need a partner." Lan jumps in. "I'll do it." On the way home, Wushu says, "Weren't you just here for vacation?" Lan replies, "I'll sightsee during the day and work at night." Just then, a van is parked nearby. Lan asks, "Whose is this?" Wushu says, "It's Shiye's." Lan smiles at hearing his name. Wushu asks, "Do you really like him?" Lan replies, "Yes." Next scene, Wushu wakes up and checks her phone. She looks sad because Hao has sent casual texts as if their breakup never happened. She gets ready, checks her purse, and finds the ring inside. She's shocked. Lan reminds her, "You said some stuff to him last night and threw up on Hao." Wushu feels embarrassed. She messages Hao but gets no reply. She calls him. Hao says, "I'm busy," and doesn't meet her. In the next scene, Lan takes Wushu to a place where Shiye is camping. Lan asks, "Will you go through with the breakup or not?" Wushu says, "I absolutely will." Lan is watching Shiye when Dong appears and says, "Shiye has a girlfriend. She'll be here soon." Then Shiye's girlfriend Zhao arrives. She asks, "Which one of you likes Shiye?" Lan says, "I do, but I'm not going to come between you two." Later, Zhao and Shiye are alone. Zhao hands him something and says, "You're moving on this fast?" Shiye says, "You asked me to break up and wanted to announce it yourself, then go ahead." Zhao replies, "Fine," and leaves. In the next scene, Wushu returns the ring to Hao and ends things. Hao asks, "What's this?" Wushu says, "I'm not who you think I am, and I don't want this kind of life." Hao says, "Okay, but I'm getting a promotion. Can't you wait a few days? Do this much for me." Next scene, Shuya takes Wushu to a stand-up comedy night. Wushu enjoys it. She asks, "How did you come here?" Shuya jokes, "You told me to learn from you, so here I am." Wushu gets on stage, but can't say anything. Awkward silence sets in. We flash back to 3 days ago. Wushu was carrying food in the cafeteria. Her colleagues invited her over, but she refused because Hao was sitting there. When Hao left, a colleague asked, "What happened between them?" Zhang replied, "A small fight." The colleague said, "Must be Hao's fault." Zhang responded, "The breakup wasn't Hao's fault. It was Wushu's." This rumor spread across the office. Back in the present, Wushu is about to perform. She tells Lan the whole story. Wushu says, "Everyone is blaming Hao. I wanted to clarify, but Hao stopped me." Lan replies, "Ignore it." Wushu starts drinking a lot. Shuya watches her silently. A stand-up show is going on, and a well-known comedian arrives to see it. Meanwhile, Shuya bets that Wushu won't be able to perform, and she actually doesn't. The comedian comes on stage and says, "You're a girl and you're new, so it'll be a little hard for you, but you can learn from me." When Wushu comes down, Shuya says, "I won the bet." Wushu replies, "How could you do this? I'm your friend." Shuya tries to explain, but she walks away. After that, Wushu stops performing for a few days, and the audience starts losing interest in her. After one of her performances, she sits quietly near the others. Shuya cheerfully says, "I won again today." Wushu questions, "Do I really have talent for this or not?" In the next scene, Wushu is sitting on Shuya's bike when he comes up and apologizes. Wushu says, "You kept placing bets, but I couldn't do it. You could have at least given me your opinion. Can you help me?" Shuya replies, "I have to go somewhere. Sorry, can you get off my bike?" Wushu gets off. Shuya rides a bit ahead and then says, "You need to look inside yourself and figure out the problem because others won't be able to see it." Wushu starts thinking, "What could be the problem with me?" Now, Wushu performs again. This time, she's better than before. Lan encourages her. In the next scene, their colleague Dong asks, "How long will this go on?" Wushu says, "Not much longer. Hao will get his promotion soon, and then I'll go back to being my real self." Shuye comments, "Then why don't you just get married if you're going to keep living like this?" Wushu says, "I'm just trying to cause minimum damage, so everyone can stay happy." Next scene, Hao is with his boss. The boss says, "You won't get a promotion this year. There are many reasons, but if you achieve something, you'll get it." Later, the whole team gathers for a team-building activity. Wushu takes Hao into a room and asks, "What happened with your promotion?" Hao says, "Don't ask." Wushu says, "This all started because of me. I asked for the breakup. You didn't cheat on me, and people need to know that. Or who knows what they'll assume." Hao refuses to say anything, but as they pull open the curtain to leave, they realize their co-workers have overheard everything, and now misunderstand Hao. After everything, Wushu is leaving when Shuya comes by and gives her a lift on his bicycle. Hao sees this and starts following them. Wushu and Shuya go to a bar. Wushu goes in first while Shuya parks the bike. Suddenly, Hao shows up and starts beating up Shuya. Hao says, "Wushu is my girlfriend." Shuya replies, "You had already broken up when I started dating her," and then he walks away. In the next scene, Shuya comes back. Lan asks, "How did you get that injury?" Shuya replies, "My girlfriend's ex-boyfriend hit me." Dong and Gao both say, "Well, that was bound to happen." Now Wushu goes on stage for her performance, but instead of jokes, she vents out her frustration, causing an awkward silence that just doesn't end. She storms outside the bar and starts shouting. Shuya sees her and asks, "What happened?" Some people nearby see this and assume Shuya is trouble, so they call the police. In the next scene, Wushu, Shuya, and Lan are coming out of the police station. Shuya says, "Next time, scream after checking. Anyway, I'm writing a script on this. Wu Xiu says, no, I'm writing the script on this. Xu Ye and Wu Xiu start arguing, and Lan has to stop them. Then all three of them go out to eat. While eating, Xu Ye asks Wu Xiu, what are jokes to you? Wu Xiu replies, Gao told me about them. Then she gives an example. Xu Ye follows up, what do jokes mean to you though? Earlier you used to joke about your boyfriend. Now it feels like you're just venting frustration. Wu Xiu says, I knew how to do it. In the next scene, Wu Xiu overhears two employees joking around about their project. She notes down those jokes. Then she goes on stage again. And this time, she delivers really good jokes. Xu Ye watches her, clearly happy. Just then, Gao comes up to Xu Ye and asks, what's going on with you? Why are you so happy? Xu Ye says, no, nothing at all. Once Gao walks back inside, Xu Ye looks at Wu Xiu again and realizes he's fallen in love with her. In the next scene, Wu Xiu is overloaded with work because Miss Hu keeps giving her too much. Due to the overtime, she falls ill. While Wu Xiu is resting at home, Xu Ye, Dong, and Gao show up. They say to Wu Xiu, we came to take care of you. Why didn't you tell us? Gao tells the other two to clean the house and take care of Wu Xiu while he goes to cook for everyone. But as they see the condition of the house, they get distracted. Dong starts playing around, and Xu Ye, after giving Wu Xiu her medicine, starts reading a book. Wu Xiu says, weren't you here to take care of me? Xu Ye replies, these guys will handle that. I just came along. Later, they all eat the dinner Gao prepared. Wu Xiu falls asleep on the couch itself. When the cab arrives, Gao and Dong leave, assuming Xu Ye will also go. But Xu Ye had dozed off and wakes up later looking for them. When he sees Wu Xiu, he tells her to go lie on the bed. But as he touches her, he realizes she has a high fever. He rushes her to the hospital, where she's put on a drip. When Wu Xiu wakes up, she looks around. Xu Ye asks, what do you need? Wu Xiu replies, I want to go to the washroom. Xu Ye takes her in a wheelchair. Wu Xiu says thank you. Xu Ye replies, no need for that, but I'm sorry for what I'm about to say. Then he tells her, your awkward silence still hasn't gone away. Xu Ye explains to her that in the beginning, she showed her real feelings which people liked, but now she's not doing that, and she shouldn't change just to match others. Wu Xiu asks, so what should I do? Xu Ye says, just be your true self and do everything with that. Wu Xiu says, okay, let's go play basketball. Xu Ye replies, in this condition, I can't believe you're the same girl who used to play with us. Wu Xiu jokes, and who would have thought someone like you, a top student, would be living this kind of life? Xu Ye says, time changes everything. Next scene, Hao comes to Wu Xiu's house with balloons. Wu Xiu is eating with her friends and saying, I could do all this because of you guys. After dinner, everyone is sitting around when Hao arrives downstairs and tries calling Wu Xiu, but her phone is somewhere else. Xu Ye sees Hao. Hao, after watching from afar, lets go of the balloons and leaves. When Wu Xiu comes to Xu Ye, he says, someone just let balloons fly into the sky. Then, a flashback to 2012. Xu Ye is with a colleague, giving a presentation to a client. The client's requirements are different, so Xu Ye loses his temper and yells at them. Later, Xu Ye and his colleague are drinking at a bar. They see a stand-up comedy show and Xu Ye says, I want to try this. Now in 2013, Xu Ye begins his stand-up journey. His friend keeps advising him, don't quit your job. But Xu Ye doesn't listen. Now the present scene comes. After performing, Wu Xiu is sitting alone. Xu Ye decides that he will confess to her. When he goes to her, Gao calls everyone and says, Wu Xiu has received an invitation from Alabaza. Dong says, it's my dream to go there, but I haven't received the invitation yet. Gao says, this is not just any normal invitation. Anyone who gets this invitation becomes famous, and it means they have seen your performances. Wu Xiu, feeling a bit nervous, says, should I go there or not? Gao says, you should go. Wu Xiu agrees. Now Wu Xiu becomes the gossip of the club because she is the girl invited to Alabaza. In the next scene, Wu Xiu is writing jokes. She thinks, do I really write such funny jokes? Lan tells her, yes, you are very funny. Just pay a little attention. In the next scene, Xu Ye is performing, and Wu Xiu starts writing something while sitting at the table. Xu Ye comes near her and thinks about confessing, but he has already confessed to many girls before. Now Wu Xiu looks at Xu Ye and asks, what happened? Xu Ye remains silent and leaves. In the next scene, Xu Ye's ex-girlfriend Zhao tells Lan, we broke up a long time ago. Lan says, why didn't you tell me? In the next scene, Lan goes looking for Xu Ye but can't find him anywhere. Then she goes to Wu Xiu and says, Xu Ye broke up with me and now how should I pursue him? Hearing this, Wu Xiu is shocked. Wu Xiu doesn't understand how she will face Lan because Lan likes Xu Ye, but he has started liking Wu Xiu. In the next scene, Wu Xiu is very busy at the office and forgets her phone at the office. Gao texts everyone, the bar will be closed due to rainfall. But Wu Xiu goes to the bar, and Dong, who was going to college for an exam, is there. He says to Wu Xiu, I'm leaving. And when you leave, make sure to lock the bar because it will be closed due to the rain. As Dong is leaving, he sees someone entering the bar. When the person goes inside, Wushu says to him, "The bar will be closed today." The person says, "I can stay here until the rain stops." Wushu says, "Okay." Then Wushu sits down to write jokes. Meanwhile, Dong reaches college and calls Wushu. "Have you reached home?" But her phone is left at the office. Then Dong texts the group and tells them about the person. Shuya is sitting in a tent. When he sees the text, Lan calls him, "I can't find a cab." Shuya says, "I'm nearby. I'll check." Now Shuya puts on a raincoat and leaves. The person says to Wushu, "I came to watch stand-up comedy, but that didn't happen." Wushu says, "I do comedy," and she performs for him. Shuya is watching everything. When the performance ends, Shuya goes inside. Wushu asks, "How did you come here?" Shuya says, "I came to get my thing." Then he gives the raincoat to the person. "You wear this and go." Shuya says to Wushu, "Aren't you scared of that person?" Wushu says, "No." Just then, the light goes out, and they both light a candle. Shuya takes advantage of the situation, and while they are drinking, the bar gets flooded with water. Shuye and Wushu close the door through which the water is coming. Now, Shuye and Wushu start playing in the water. Then, Wushu feels something in the water. They both sit on the table. They see a fish in the water. Now, Shuye and Wushu get so close to each other that they start kissing. But the light comes on and they both immediately move back. The next day, Gao says, "Today a lot of customers have come, who are comedians. Since they found out that Wushu is going to Alabaza, they all came to watch Wushu's performance." Gao says, "Where will Wushu be?" Lan says, "She must be doing overtime in the office." Then Wushu is seen remembering jokes in the office, and she is scared to meet Shuye because she remembers that moment from the night, which made her feel embarrassed. Wushu goes to the bar. As soon as she sees Shuye, she leaves and goes back home. Once home, Lan says to her, "You didn't go to the bar because you were scared." Wushu thinks Lan is talking about Shuye, but Lan is actually talking about Alabaza. In the next scene, when Shuye is performing, Wushu comes and tells Gao, "I will perform now." Just then, two people are talking. She's pretty, but this girl won't perform. Now, Shuye is coming down after his performance when Wushu says, "I need to talk to you after the performance." One of the two boys gets upset, and both boys leave. Now, Wushu takes Shuye outside and is about to speak when Shuye says, "We had drinks. All of this happened because of that," and they both resolve the issue. Just then, they overhear the two boys talking, "Wushu is fake." Shuye and Wushu go to them and ask, "Why are you spreading such things? What proof do you have?" The two boys say, "We heard someone saying it in the club." Now, Wushu and Shuye go to the club, and it is the same person who stayed at the bar during the rain. His name is Liu Qi. When he goes outside, Shuye and Wushu go to him, and Liu Qi denies recognizing them and says, "I never went to that bar, nor did I steal anyone's script. This is my own script." Wushu says, "We work all day to write that script, and someone told us we should do this comedy by speaking from the heart." Liu Qi doesn't care about this. He says, "I know you're recording, but I didn't steal anything." Everyone is saying that Wushu stole the script. Alabaza people decide that they cannot have such a comedian perform. Gao gets a message that Wushu's performance at Alabaza has been cancelled. Dong says, "Someone else will perform. Someone else will fill in." Gao says, "That's their rule." Wushu says, "How could Liu Qi do this?" In the next scene, Wushu is sitting in the bar when the comedian's friends come and ask, "Where is Shuye? And how did he hit Liu Qi?" Just then, Shuye comes and says, "Yes, I hit him, and I made a mistake." Hearing this, they don't say anything. Then Shuye says, "I understand my mistake, and I will invite you all to dinner tomorrow and apologize to Liu Qi." In the next scene, Wushu takes Shuye outside and says, "Didn't you feel scared? What if they had called the police?" Shuye says, "I only slapped him twice. Nothing's going to happen." Wushu asks, "What's your plan after this?" Now, Wushu brings bandages for Shuye. As she goes inside, Lan is putting bandages on him. Wushu sees this and leaves. Now, Lan asks Shuye, "Did you break up? Can I be your girlfriend?" Shuye refuses. In the next scene, Wushu and Lan are going home. Lan says, "Today I proposed to Shuye." He refused, but he will agree later. Wushu gives her a simple response. In the next scene, Shuye is about to say sorry. Everyone is there. Liu Qi also comes with a bandage on his head. Shuye apologizes to him. Now, Alabaza's manager is also present. Shuye says to Wushu, "Come and perform. After all, people haven't heard your new jokes." Wushu has to come there. Wushu gets on stage and says, "I will tell 3 jokes. If anyone doesn't like them, I will never perform again." Then she remembers, "What's our plan?" Shuye says, "I didn't hit Liu Qi. I just wrote on his head that he stole the script, and to hide it, he made the excuse that Shuye hit him." As soon as Wu Shu starts telling jokes, everyone gets impressed. Everyone finds out that Liu Qi copied the material. Now, Wu Shu says to Liu Qi, "Next time you copy, make sure to record it." Now, Liu Qi's friend angrily takes off the bandage from his head, and there is no injury. Seeing this, Wu Shu becomes very happy and looks at Xuye. In the next scene, Hao is appointed as the chairman's special assistant, and he is doing very well at it. In the next scene, Wu Shu, Dong, Gao, Lan, and Xuye are having dinner. Dong says about Liu Qi, "He was really humiliated, his career must be over now." Now, Xuye goes to wash his hands, and Wu Shu goes to him and thanks him. Xuye says, "It all depended on you. If you hadn't done this well, it wouldn't have worked." Wu Shu feels happy hearing this. Now, when Wu Shu is going home, she sees messages in the group where everyone is praising her jokes. Seeing this, she becomes very happy. She also performs at a different club where people come and ask Wu Shu for selfies and autographs. In the next scene, Hao goes to the chairman with the list of finance submissions. The chairman gets angry upon seeing it and says, "Add Wu Shu's name to this." Hao says, "But the list is already full." The chairman says, "Remove Miss Hu's name and add Wu Shu." Hao makes the change and sends the list to everyone. Miss Hu sees this and calls Hao asking, "Why is Wu Shu's name in place of mine?" Hao says, "The chairman told me to do it." Wu Shu is happy when she sees the list and gathers information about it. The next day, Wu Shu arrives at the office ready, and Hao stands up. He tells Wu Shu, "The chairman called for you. Miss Hu is in a bad mood, and you should stay away from her." Wu Shu agrees and says, "How?" Just then, the chairman arrives and begins giving a speech. Hao listens to his words carefully. Now a person named Feng comes and gives a speech while he keeps looking at Wu Shu. After the speech, everyone goes to the waiting room. The chairman goes to talk to someone. Now Hao sees Feng's assistant and says, "Feng is my idol. I try to talk to him." Meanwhile, Feng's assistant comes and invites Wu Shu to meet Feng. Hao is shocked when he sees this. Wu Shu goes inside, where Feng is talking on the phone. He ends the call and says, "An important person has come to meet me." Feng says to Wu Shu, "I'm your fan." Hearing this, Wu Shu is shocked and asks, "I haven't even met you." Feng says, "I've seen your performances when you were proving your innocence." Wu Shu feels happy hearing this. Just then, a girl comes in, and Wu Shu is shocked to see her because she is Li Shan, a very famous host. She immediately starts yelling at Feng, "How can you end our relationship like this?" Shan then tells Wu Shu to leave. Feng stops Wu Shu and says, "She's not staff, she's the girl I'm interested in." Wu Shu is shocked and says, "I just met Feng. I don't even know him. I'm leaving." While leaving, Wu Shu says, "Can I take a selfie with you? My mom and I are your big fans." Hearing this, Shan is speechless and quietly agrees to take a selfie. When Wu Shu leaves, some of Hao's colleagues come and ask, "Do you know Feng?" Wu Shu replies, "It was a misunderstanding with him." In the next scene, Wu Shu tells Lan everything. Lan says, "You're so lucky. Does he really like you?" Wu Shu replies, "No, he just said that to get rid of Shan." Lan says, "If you had said yes, Feng would have had to accept it, and now you're regretting it." Wu Shu romantically says, "Yes, I am regretting it." In the next scene, Wu Shu is sitting in a bar because Feng came to meet her. Lan, Gao, and others are quietly listening to their conversation. Wu Shu says, "What do you want?" Feng says, "What have you thought about what I said yesterday? Will you be my girlfriend?" Wu Shu is shocked. Feng says, "You're very pretty and funny too." Hearing this, she is surprised and asks, "Is that the only reason?" Feng replies, "That's enough. If someone is pretty, they're not interesting. If they're interesting, they're not pretty." Wu Shu doesn't understand what he's saying. Wu Shu tells him, "I will think about it." Feng gives her his business card and says, "Let me know by tomorrow." He then leaves. Lan asks, "Will you date him?" Gao says, "You should. He's very rich." Lan says, "I don't believe in wealth. You should think about love." Wu Shu says, "I will think about it later." Just then, Xuye arrives and asks, "What's going on?" Dong tells him, "Some rich man likes Wu Shu and proposed to her." Hearing this, Xuye doesn't like it. In the next scene, Wu Shu is performing, making jokes about Miss Hu's jealousy and Feng's proposal. Later, Wu Shu goes home and calls Feng with Lan. She doesn't have the courage to talk to him, so Feng tells her to meet the next day. Wu Shu goes to meet him, and they meet at a construction site where Feng brings cookies and coffee. While she's eating a cookie, Feng asks for her answer. The cookie gets stuck in Wu Shu's throat. Wu Shu says, "I don't know you yet. We need to spend time together first." Feng agrees with this. In the next scene, Wu Shu is choosing a dress to go on a date with Feng and wears a casual dress. When they are sitting in the car, Feng is only talking about work on his phone. Later, Feng takes Wu Shu to a large event where everyone is dressed very well, but Wu Shu is in casual wear. Now Feng takes her to meet some people and his junior arrives. Feng introduces Wu Shu to everyone and says, "She's a very good comedian." Feng's friends start eyeing Wu Shu from head to toe. so Feng goes to change his clothes after sprinkling water on himself. Wushu stands alone and overhears them gossiping. What happened to Feng's choice? This girl doesn't even know how to dress. Wushu overhears this. Then Feng comes back in casual clothes. Wushu is very happy to see this. Wushu goes home and tells Lan everything, saying, I thought Feng wasn't serious about me, but that's not the case. Lan says, now invite him on a date. In the next scene, Miss Hu is scolding Wushu, but Wushu doesn't say anything and just starts working. After she leaves, Wushu remembers Lan's suggestion about the date and calls Feng to invite him for a hot pot. They go to the shop, but it's closed. Wushu, feeling sad, says, I haven't been here in so long and I really wanted to eat the food here. Feng takes her to another place, and Wushu calls Lan, saying, I wanted hot pot, so Feng brought me here. Lan is very happy for her. Wushu asks Lan to let someone else perform in her place. Meanwhile, Shuya goes to Lan, and Lan asks him to perform. Shuya asks, where is Wushu? Lan explains everything, and Shuya says sadly, how different rich people are. He just took her there for food. In the next scene, Wushu and Feng are eating, and Wushu thanks him. Feng says, I came here for a factory deal, and I'll settle it today. Just then, a worker comes and says, the special meat didn't arrive due to traffic, so we'll give you another one. Feng disagrees with this, so the worker talks to the manager and then informs Feng, the meat is on the other floor, and you'll get it soon. Feng then goes to deal with the factory, and Wushu pays the bill alone. She sees Feng talking to the factory owner. Feng says, after buying the factory, I'll fire all the workers. The owner refuses to accept this, and Feng speaks cruelly. If this happens, I won't buy this factory. Wushu is shocked upon hearing this and returns to her table. The owner then agrees to Feng's terms. Feng returns to Wushu, and she says, isn't that a bit too cruel? Feng replies, this company is suffering a lot of loss, and I'm doing this to save it. In the next scene, Wushu comes home, and Lan asks her, did you feel any romantic connection? Wushu replies, it's not like that. In the next scene, Wushu performs at the bar, and after she finishes, Chao and Tian, who met her at the event, approach her. They praise her performance, saying, you perform really well, you will go far, and you should perform elsewhere. Tian then adds, you can perform in the second mention. In the following scene, Shuye is guiding Wushu with her script when Lan and Dong happily join them. Lan says, we've spoken to our boss. Wushu and Shuye will perform in the second mention. Shuye replies, I don't want to perform there. He then starts cleaning his bicycle. Wushu approaches him and asks, why don't you want to perform there? Shuye responds, I don't want to perform at places like that. Next, Wushu performs at the event. After her performance, she notices Chairman and Hao, and Zhang Hao sends a photo of the poster with Wushu's name on it. Hao's phone connects to the projector, and the chairman watches everything. While the chairman laughs at the beginning of Wushu's jokes, his smile fades when she makes a joke about him. Wushu goes to follow him, but by then, he has already left. Later, Wushu asks Lan, what will the chairman do with me now? Lan replies, you said it outside the company, but in comedy, this kind of thing happens. Wushu says, the chairman won't understand because to him, it's disrespectful. Lan offers, I'll ask Hao. As soon as Lan picks up the phone, she sees Hao texting, say sorry. However, Hao immediately deletes the message and says, who am I to her? That night, Wushu anxiously checks if Hao has texted anything, as she is worried about a meeting with the chairman the next day. The following day, Wushu is on her way to the office, feeling very nervous. When the meeting begins, she is anxious, and Pang notices, asking, are you okay? Wushu replies, yes. Just then, the chairman's assistant arrives and says, the chairman won't be here today. Wushu relaxes. Wushu then asks Hao to meet her, and he replies, we'll meet after the meeting. In the next scene, Hao is outside the bar, recalling how he had hit Shiye inside after his performance. Shiye comes down and asks Hao, have we met before? Hao replies, you're so forgetful. I hit you because of your girlfriend. Shiye responds, that happens a lot, so I don't remember. Hao says, Wushu is a really good girl. Don't mess up her life. If anything goes wrong, she'll have to bear it herself. Hearing this, Shuya realizes that Hao thinks he's Wushu's boyfriend, but Shuya doesn't explain it. Just then, Wushu arrives and goes to speak to Hao. Hao says, now that this has happened, you should apologize to the chairman. Shuya asks, why should I apologize for this? Hao insists that they go talk, and Shiye and Dong sit down with him. Hao advises Wushu, the chairman is our boss. If we make a mistake, we should apologize. Dong adds, it's a form of art. This kind of thing happens. Why apologize? Shuye agrees with Dong. Wushu asks, How? Why should I apologize? How explains, if the chairman is still angry, it could become a problem for you in the future. Eventually, Shuye and Hao begin arguing about whether Wu Shu should apologize. Seeing this, Wu Shu becomes even more confused. Hao, as he leaves, says, I'll talk to the chairman about when you should apologize. In the next scene, Hao asks the chairman, do you have time? Wu Shu needs to apologize to you. The chairman agrees. Okay. Finally, Wu Shu receives a call from the chairman's assistant who says, the chairman wants to meet you. He has 10 minutes. Wu Shu agrees and starts writing an apology. The next day, she meets the chairman, and as she is about to apologize, she becomes blank upon seeing him. She then says whatever feels right to her. This is how stand-up comedy is. Hearing this, the chairman's mood starts to sour. Just then, a businessman who overheard part of the conversation enters and says, I'm interested in stand-up comedy. I've watched some shows. Wu Shu starts talking to him, and the chairman says, that's great. Our employee also does comedy. He then asks Wu Shu to perform, and she does. The businessman is impressed and says, she's so good at it. Afterward, when they sit down for lunch, the businessman invites Wu Shu to join them. After he leaves, the chairman praises Wu Shu, saying, you do this so well and you're not afraid at all. Then he talks about promotion, saying, you'll need to leave this so that the company's image doesn't get harmed. The next scene shows Wu Shu telling everyone at the bar. Lan says, this is great. If you get promoted, you should quit. Gao says, you perform here. You're really good. You make everyone laugh. Shuye asks, Wu Shu, what do you want to do? After thinking, Wu Shu chooses the job. Later, when she's outside alone, Shuye comes to talk to her and says, are you just going to give up like this? Wu Shu replies, what else can I do? Shuye says, everyone faces a time when they have to choose, and we're scared of it, just like I'm scared. Just as he's about to say something else, Gao arrives and says, Feng is here. Wu Shu goes inside, and Feng asks, aren't you going to perform? Gao tells him everything. Feng replies, you can choose anything. If you choose the job, you can still perform for me, right? In the next scene, Gao is at the bar and Lan tells him, because Wu Shu isn't coming, the customers are decreasing. Hearing this, Gao says, talk to Wu Shu. Lan replies, she's not agreeing. Gao suggests, let's talk to Feng. He really likes it. Lan looks for Feng's number and calls him. Feng, who is riding horses, picks up the call. Lan says, Gao wants to talk to you. Gao asks Feng, can you do business with our bar? Feng replies, we'll meet in the evening to discuss. Later, Wu Shu is also riding horses with Feng. Feng asks, what have you decided? Wu Shu says, I'll take the job and give up comedy. As Wu Shu is getting off her horse, Feng helps her down and touches her back, which makes Wu Shu very uncomfortable. She says, I'm not comfortable right now. Feng responds, it's fine, I'll wait. The next scene shows Wu Shu and Lan at home. Lan asks, what's going on between you and Feng? Wu Shu says, we'll start as friends and we're getting closer. Lan responds, you're comfortable, but you can't make physical contact. In the next scene, Wu Shu texts Feng at the office, asking, where are you? Feng replies, I'm going to meet Gao at the bar. Wu Shu is surprised to hear this. Now, Gao reduces the ticket cost to attract more customers. He tells Feng, we want to make the bar a stand-up comedy platform, and we need to invest in it. This will bring profit. Feng replies, I'm not investing. We won't gain anything from it. Gao insists, look at the customers. Feng remarks, I saw on the poster that you've reduced the cost. Lan asks, why are you supporting Wu Shu? Feng replies, I like her, and I would do anything for her, even marriage. Lan says, you're very far from that. She hasn't thought about it yet. Feng leaves, and soon Wu Shu arrives. Everyone is sitting together, and Wu Shu asks, is there a financial problem? Lan explains the situation. Wu Shu offers to contribute her savings. Gao says, it'll only last a few days. Forget it. A businessman already said it won't work. Dong asks, if the bar closes, where will we perform? Shia motivates them by giving examples of many people. Wu Shu then stands alone near the bar. Shia comes and says, don't give up comedy. After saying this, he leaves. In the next scene, Wu Shu sees Feng talking to some people. She asks him, why do you think this won't be profitable? Feng replies, not many people know about it, and it's not interesting. Wu Shu bets, if we bring 500 people to the theater, will you invest? Feng initially disagrees, but later agrees. Wu Shu goes and tells everyone at the bar, and everyone becomes happy. Shuye asks, will you perform too? Wu Shu says, no, I will organize it. Everyone then takes on their respective tasks. In the next scene, Wu Shu is working on the organization when Feng calls her and asks, can you meet me today? Wu Shu replies, I'm busy. Feng says, let's meet later. Then, Shu Ye and Lan arrive at the bar. Wu Shu asks, what happened? They sadly reply, no one is agreeing. Wu Shu says, I can't find any company to organize it either. In the next scene, Wu Shu requests a person to become an agent for her show, but the person refuses. However, Wu Shu sits in his car and says, Just come to our show once, you'll see how good it is. The person agrees. In the next scene, Shiya goes to a bar to bring a good comedian to perform in the show, but the comedian refuses. Shiya says, in return, I will perform comedy in different shows for a month. The comedian agrees. Now the performances are complete. Meanwhile, Lan and Dong arrive at the theater to meet the owner. Lan shows the owner their show, but he says, we don't allow performances like this in our theater, which creates tension. Lan says, what should we do now? Everyone has done their part, and we are the only ones who haven't been able to do ours. Just then, the owner comes out, and Dong snatches his phone and runs away. Lan takes the owner to the bar where Shiya is performing. The owner is very happy after seeing it. Now that everything is resolved, they are having drinks. In the next scene, Shiya performs at another bar, and Lan and Wushu are seen handing out the show's templates. Feng watches this, feeling very happy. Now Dong messages his friends in the group to come to the show, but accidentally texts the department group. In the next scene, Wushu is at the venue checking everything, and the people ask her to check the mic. While introducing herself, Shiya watches her. Then, Wushu is seen sleeping with her head on the bar, and Shiya comes and places his jacket over her. Wushu says, you should go home and rest because I'm not performing. Shiya replies, I saw you on stage, and it looked like you were made for this. So, think about it. In the next scene, Wushu is in the office. Miss Hu tells her, you have an interview to attend. Wushu texts everyone, I won't be present today. Hearing this, everyone gets worried, and very few people buy tickets. In the following scene, Wushu is at the interview and tries to finish her work quickly to leave. While sitting in the car and completing her work, the car breaks down. Meanwhile, Lan is outside, handing out tickets, but no one buys them because the tickets are expensive and everyone gets frustrated. Just then, Dong arrives with his classmate, and Lan becomes happy. Now, Feng and Hao also arrive. Gao receives a message from a performer saying, I won't be able to make it due to an accident. Gao and the others become very worried about what to do next. Gao goes on stage to start the show, and Lan calls Wushu to say, we have a problem here. Please come and help us or everything will go wrong. Just then, Wushu's phone battery dies, and she doesn't know what to do. She rushes out and, while running, comes across a horse ranch. Wushu rides a horse to get there. As she heads there, people are taking videos and photos of her. When she arrives, Hao is surprised to see her. When Wushu enters, everyone is happy to see her, and she announces, I will perform too. Gao then announces on stage, at the end, Wushu will perform. Wushu starts her performance, making jokes about clients and her ex-boyfriend. Hao is very happy watching this. Then Wushu makes jokes about Feng, which makes Hao feel differently because he wonders if she's making jokes about Shiye. However, when he sees Feng enjoying it, Hao's smile fades. When Wushu finishes her performance, Feng comes to her and offers her a booking, saying, congratulations. Hao watches this. Then, Gao talks to Feng about investing, and Feng asks, did we meet the bet we made? Wushu replies, we're almost there. Hearing this, Feng says, you lost, but he still invites everyone for dinner. The next day, Wushu tells the chairman, don't promote me. I won't quit stand-up comedy. The chairman says, this will affect the company. You have to choose between the company or comedy. Wushu thinks for a moment and says, okay, I resign. The chairman is shocked to hear this. Now, Wushu is packing her desk, and everyone asks her what she is doing. But she doesn't say anything and just hands over the files, explaining what each file is for. Lin, her colleague, asks Pang, where is Wushu? I need to ask her about a file. Pang replies, she went out. Lin goes outside and sees Wushu getting into Feng's car. Lin follows her in a taxi. Feng asks Wushu, why didn't you tell me about this? Wushu replies, the chairman gave me a choice, either work or comedy. So, I resigned and came here. Feng says, the chairman didn't want to fire you. Wushu says, yeah, but it's okay. Feng then takes her for lunch. Feng takes Wushu to a mall, where he starts looking at baby walkers. A salesperson asks, how old is your baby? Wushu replies, there's no baby. We're just good friends. Lin sees this and thinks Wushu is pregnant, so she takes a photo of them. In the next scene, Wushu and Feng are in a restaurant. Feng apologizes to Wushu, saying, sorry for surprising you like that. Wushu responds, you really scared me. Feng then starts talking about investment. Later, Lin goes to the office and tells everyone, Wushu went with Feng in an expensive car. Everyone is shocked by what they hear. Then, Lin shows everyone the photo of the baby walker and says, Wushu is pregnant. That's why she quit her job so quickly. On the other hand, Wushu, Lan, and Dong are at the bar. Lan is counting Wushu's money. After this month's expenses, she has very little left. Lan asks Wushu, what did you do? Wushu replies, I spent money for the theater performance. I didn't know I'd end up without a job. Lan, feeling sad, says, I don't have money either. Dad canceled my card. How will we pay the rent now? Dong says, how do you use money so quickly that it's gone? Lan replies, a modern girl needs a lot of things. Then, Gao tells Wushu, don't you get any money from the company? When an employee is fired, they get some money. Wushu says, I resigned myself so I won't get anything. Just then, Wushu gets a message from the company for an interview. In the next scene, Wushu goes for the interview, and they ask her, why did you leave your first job? Wushu explains, because of stand-up comedy. They respond, this will affect us too, and they reject her. Now, Wushu goes for another interview, and they reject her as well because of her comedy. In the following scene, Wushu goes to the bar and tells Lan and Dong everything. Dong says, why do you tell everyone the real reason? You could have made up another lie. Then Dong suggests, just say that the manager there wasn't good. The next day, Wushu goes for another interview and gives the same reason for leaving her job, and hearing this, she gets selected. Now, Wushu is performing at the bar, and she talks about how she lied, but then changes the topic and finishes her act. Shuye watches everything. As soon as Wushu approaches him, Shuye asks, did you forget your lines? Wushu replies, yes. Then, they celebrate the happiness of landing a new job. In the next scene, Wushu is at her previous office, filling out some papers. Everyone meets her warmly. Just then, Pang arrives. Wushu suggests, let's go to the cafeteria. Pang responds, I can't go there because everyone found out you're pregnant. Hearing this, Wushu is shocked and tells everyone everything. Pang says, this was all Shoulin's doing. Wushu then directly goes to the company where she got her new job and tells them everything about why she left her previous job, but she gets rejected again. Now, Wushu goes to the bar and tells Lan, I lost my job, and some colleagues are coming. Just then, Pang arrives, and Wushu introduces her to the others. Soon, more colleagues arrive. Wushu performs stand-up comedy for everyone, and through her jokes, explains why she left her job. She had invited Huo as well. Wushu also shares the story about Feng. Everyone praises her after hearing this. In the next scene, Wushu is in the car with Feng. He shows her a photo and says, this is the island I bought. Now, we'll go there for a trip. Wushu is shocked but agrees. Feng says, I bought this island because it reminded me of you. Saying this, he tries to kiss Wushu, but she pulls back. Feng then says, I'm going on a business trip. When I come back, we'll go to the island. Now, Wushu is at the bar when Lan says, we have a performance to go to, and we'll get paid for it. Will you come? Wushu agrees. In the next scene, Wushu and the others are in Shuye's van, heading to the performance location, all very happy. Wushu tells Shuye, this is the first time I'm sitting in your van and it's so helpful. My mom saw a movie once where they had a car and it became her dream to own one, but at that time, I didn't think I'd ever be able to buy a car with my situation. Shuye replies, it's possible if you stop overthinking. Everyone arrives at the location, but they are shocked to find it's a vegetable market. Lan calls the organizer to confirm, are you sure this is the right location? He says yes and tells them to come further ahead. As soon as they arrive, they are shocked to see the stage. Just then, a girl comes and hugs Shuye. This is the same girl who had introduced them to perform there. Now, Lan takes everyone to the organizer and asks, what is all this? You didn't mention any of this. The organizer replies, this is also a performance and there will be an audience. You've signed the contract so you'll have to do it. Wushu is the first to perform. While she's performing, no one is paying attention to her. She shouts loudly but no one notices her. In the next scene, Wushu and the others are having lunch, and Wushu, feeling embarrassed, says, I never thought I'd go through such a tough time. The organizer comes over and says, I have a surprise for you. Come with me. When they go there, it's not a surprise, but rather a performance for the clients. Dong and Shuye refuse to do it, but the organizer says, please don't refuse, you'll get paid. He then tells Wushu, wear something flashy and come. Wushu, feeling uncomfortable in the clothes, performs on stage. One of the clients says, this is boring, dance. Wushu refuses, saying, I didn't come here to do that. Then a man asks her to join him for a drink. Wushu refuses and steps down from the stage. Seeing this, Shuye goes up on stage, apologizes, has a drink, and performs a bit. Afterward, as they are leaving, the organizer tells them, you'll have to pay for the hotel and the vehicle. They are shocked to hear this and say, we're not staying in any hotel with you. Just call us when you need us to perform. As they are about to leave, Wushu sees a spot and says, it would be nice if we could stay here. Shaya pulls over the van and says, we'll stay here tonight. He continues, Lan and Wushu will sleep inside, and Dong and I will sleep outside. Everyone begins to set up happily, and Dong suggests, let's make a bonfire here. Lan and Dong go to collect firewood while Shuye and Wushu catch fish from the nearby river. They are all eating together when Dong says, we'll never get another chance like this. We should just go ahead and do the performance. We're getting paid anyway. In the next scene, Wushu and Lan are sleeping inside. Lan says, Dong is so scared, I have to protect him. Wushu replies, you like protecting people. I saw how you were protecting Shuye. You like him. Lan denies it, saying, I don't have any feelings for him. When I first met him, it was just an interaction. After this, they fall asleep. The next morning, when they reach the performance location, a dancer is watching dance videos on her mobile while eating. Wushu watches this and writes a joke about it. Dong performs first, and then Wushu performs. She tells the same joke and everyone starts laughing. After the performance, everyone goes to the hotel to shower. Meanwhile, the girl is giving Shiya her room number. Lan comes out after showering and offers everyone snacks, but Shiya refuses, and Wushu is thinking about the room number. Dong and Lan leave alone. Shiya goes to take a shower, and Wushu keeps an eye on him. The girl tells Shiya, I gave you my room number. Why didn't you come? Shiya replies, I'm not interested. Saying this, he starts looking for Wushu. Shiya calls Wushu and finds her. Wushu, feeling a little embarrassed, says, I came here to do some work. Do you believe me? Both of them smile. Now, Lan and Dong, having eaten too much, are in a public restroom, getting IV drips at the hospital. Meanwhile, a guy lets the air out of the tires of Shiya's van. Wushu and Shiya are alone in the van. Wushu calls Lan, and Lan says, you two go ahead. We'll catch up. Wushu agrees, and they both leave. Wushu receives a call from the organizer, informing her that they need to go to another location. As they are on their way, Wushu starts to recall her school days as they are heading to a town where she used to live. Wushu tells Shiya to hurry, but Shiya refuses. Then, Wushu receives a call from the dancer woman. The woman asks, did the guy near you puncture your tire? Are you okay? Wushu replies, we're fine and almost there. The call ends, and the tire goes flat. Because of the flat tire, they end up stuck outside. Wushu asks, don't you have a spare tire? Shiya refuses and starts making jokes with her. Wushu replies, this isn't the time for jokes. Shiya then asks, do you want something to eat? Wushu says, nothing can be done now. They sit down to eat. Shiya continues joking, and Wushu comments, if someone else were in your place, they'd think how unlucky they are. But you don't worry at all. I wish I could be like you. This life is good. Shiya says, let's live this life. I'll take you to the mountain instead of going to the town. Wushu replies, I figured it out. You don't want to go there. Shiya responds, my mom doesn't like it there, and she told everyone that I'm a director. If I perform, everyone will know. You don't have to worry because your parents already moved away from there. Wushu agrees and adds, your parents probably know everything, but I haven't told mine anything. No one will recognize me. I've changed a lot. Shiya says, yeah, even I didn't recognize you. Wushu gets a text from Feng. When will you come? Wushu replies, I'll be there in a few days. In the next scene, we see Wushu and Shiya in another van. They arrive at the location where the performance has already started, and there's a wedding happening. A person named Zhou Lu sends someone to the organizer to request some voice work, but the person refuses. As Wushu and Shiya arrive, the organizer scolds them. Why are you late? Wushu explains everything, and the organizer tells her to wear flashy clothes. While Shiya stands near the stage, Zhou approaches. He is Shiya's classmate. They both greet each other happily. Zhou says, your mom told me how busy you are. I wanted to invite you to my wedding. And do you have any work here? Shiya, embarrassed, replies, yes. Zhou continues, all the teachers and classmates will be at my wedding. You should come when you're free. Just then, Wushu arrives. Shiya introduces her, saying, she's my classmate. Wushu remembers and says, then there must be other classmates here. Shiya says, yes, and I don't want to go there because my mom will be there. She'll be embarrassed if she sees me. In the next scene, Wushu performs and apologizes to the dancer. After that, Shiya performs, and his mom is there with a client. The client praises her for how well her husband and Shiya are doing. As they are leaving, Shiya's mom tells the client to go ahead and walks over to Shiya. She scolds him, saying, you're doing this here? You can't do anything there. Shiya responds, this is my job. But his mom blames him, saying, you've ruined my reputation. Just then, Wu Yu arrives, greets them, and introduces herself. Shiya's mom says, so this is all happening because of you. You haven't changed, and you've ruined my son's life. Shiya defends, saying, that's not true. We're both here to work. But his mom blames Wushu again and says, don't come to the wedding. After saying this, she leaves. Now, Shiya tells Wushu to crash the wedding, and Wushu agrees. As they enter, Shiya's mom is shocked to see him. Shiya and Wushu go up to Zhou and congratulate him, and Wushu introduces herself. Zhou takes Wushu and Shiya to the classmates' table, where everyone is happy to see each other and asks, are you two together? Both of them confirm with a yes. One classmate says, Shiya, your mom told us that you're in a director's position. Then they ask Wushu, what do you do? Wushu replies, I resigned from the company and joined stand-up comedy. Just then, the teacher starts explaining what stand-up comedy is. Shiya says, I also quit my job and joined stand-up comedy. Everyone is shocked to hear this. Afterward, Shuye and Wushu perform together, during which they share everything about their lives. Shuye's mom, hearing this, leaves the event. Everyone laughs as they watch the performance. Later, all the classmates feel sad seeing how tough Shuye's life has been. Shuye is unsure whether to laugh or cry, and he drinks heavily in response. The next day, they are leaving. Wushu is driving because Shuye has been drinking. They reach their destination, and as Wushu is about to leave, Shuye follows her. Wushu refuses and walks away, but Lan follows her. Shuye leaves, and later, he finds Wushu's phone in the car. He brings it closer to her. Just then, Wushu receives a call from Feng. She talks to him on the phone, which makes Shuye feel sad, and he leaves. In the next scene, Dong is performing at a bar, and Wushu sees Shuye sitting quietly. Then, Wushu gets a message from Feng. "I'm coming." Seeing this, Wushu asks Lan for a strong drink, and drinks it. She recalls that she was supposed to break up with Feng over text the previous day, but couldn't. She says, "We'll meet tomorrow." Wushu approaches Shuye to say something, but Feng interrupts, saying, "I have a surprise for you today. My first stand-up comedy." Everyone is shocked to hear this. Feng starts performing, joking about his business. However, no one seems interested in his act. Wushu and the others feel embarrassed watching this performance. Feng jokes about investments and tries more jokes from his phone, but still, no one seems interested. An audience member even says, "If you don't know how to do it, don't try." This comment angers Feng, and he replies, "You're neither rich nor knowledgeable. You won't understand." In the end, he storms off angrily, glaring at Wushu. Wushu goes home and tries calling Feng, but the call doesn't go through. She then texts him, "This has never happened before." As she sends the message, she realizes that Feng has blocked her. Then, Wushu tells Lan, so Lan says, "Let's go, talk to him." Wushu says, "No, ever since he blocked me, it feels like a burden has been lifted from me." Lan says, "Do you like someone?" Wushu tells her, "I like Shuye." Lan leaves from there, without saying anything. Gao calls Wu Yu and asks, "Lan, where is she?" Wu Yu says, "She has gone out. I will send her now." In the next scene, Dong asks Gao, "Where is Shuye?" Gao says, "I sent him out. If he were here, he would create problems." Just then, Lan arrives there. Dong, seeing her condition, asks, "What happened?" Lan doesn't say anything. Just then, Wushu arrives there with things for a hot pot. Lan and Wushu look at each other, but don't say anything. Just then, Dong and Gao realize that something has happened between them. Lan's mom calls and says, "You, come over. Dad's birthday is coming up." Dong overhears all this, and going to Lan says, "What happened between you and Wushu?" Lan, in anger, tells everything. "We are both friends. We share everything with each other. But Wushu didn't tell me that she likes Shuye." In the next scene, everyone is having dinner with the bar manager. Gao is trying to explain to him, "Reduce the money. We can't afford this." But he doesn't agree and says, "I can't put myself at a loss. Give this much money or I'll give this place to someone else." Now, Wushu says to Gao, "If we attract more customers, our problem can be solved." Lan says the opposite. Wushu says, "Don't bring our fight here." They both start fighting and are drinking one drink after another. Now Dong calls Shuye and tells him, and Wushu and Lan go on stage, remember their relationship, and hug. Dong makes a video of them and sends it to Shuye. Now Wushu and Lan feel like vomiting. Both go to the washroom. Now Shuye also arrives there. Lan says to Wushu, "You also go and propose to Shuye. I am with you." Wushu goes out and says, "I am not drunk. Will you date me?" He is surprised. Now Wushu herself says, "Okay," and kisses him. Now Shuye takes Lan and Wushu to their home. They are both drunk. Now Shuye is laying Wushu on the bed and is about to leave when Wushu grabs Shuye's coat. Shuye tries to free it but can't, and sits down right there. The next morning, Wushu wakes up and is surprised to see Shuye in front of her. She remembers what she did yesterday. She smiles and wakes Shuye up. He gets up and goes to the washroom. Then, Wushu checks her mobile, and there's a call from her parents and a message from mom arrives, "I am coming to you." Now the doorbell rings, so Shuye opens the door. Wushu's mom asks, "Who is this?" Lan says, "This is my boyfriend. I am leaving tomorrow, so he came to drop me off." Shuye is surprised seeing all this, so Lan tells him, "This is Wushu's mom." Wushu's mom says, "I have seen this boy somewhere." Wushu says, "He is my classmate." Now mom asks Wushu about how, so Wushu says, "He has gone on a business trip." In the next scene, we see Shuye sitting on a bench in a garden. Wushu also arrives there. This is their first date. Wushu gives him meat and says, "My mom made this for the boss." Now they both eat it together, and then lie down under a tree, looking at the clouds and talking. Then Wushu takes medicine for her mom, and changes it with another medicine. Her mom again takes the same medicine from the doctor. She has some serious illness. In the next scene, Wushu and Shuye are hugging a tree. Wushu says, "It feels so good to hug a tree. You try this." Shuya leaves the tree and hugs Wu Shu. In the next scene, Wu Shu is at the bar with Gao and Dong and tells them, Shuya is getting angry with me, asking, when will you tell your mom? Dong gives her an idea. Just then, Wu Shu's mom calls, where are you? Wu Shu says, I am in the office. Her mom says, I am coming there. Then from there, we will have dinner. Wu Shu tries to stop her, but she doesn't stop. Wu Shu calls Pang and says, my mom is coming there. You stop her. Pang stops her mom. She says, Wu Shu is in a meeting. You, please, come this way. Meanwhile, Wu Shu comes inside using the stairs and arrives there by lift. Then Pang brings her mom there, and they both go to a fancy hotel. Her mom orders a lot of food. Wu Shu is surprised to see this. Now Wu Shu tries Dong's idea and taking a friend's name tells the whole story. So her mom says, she can do all this. You don't do anything like that. You have a good job and a boyfriend too. Then she asks about how, so Wu Shu makes an excuse. Then they both buy similar dresses. In the next scene, Wu Shu is sitting near the van telling Shuye, my mom is eating and shopping with me. If my mom paid for this, I would never forgive myself. I have absolutely no money. Shuye doesn't give her any answer. Wu Shu goes inside and sees he is sleeping. Wu Shu says to him, what was I talking about? Did you hear? Shuye says, I heard everything you said. You need money. Come with me, I will give you money. Now Shuye and Wu Shu go to a club on a bicycle and he gets money. One day they perform at a KTV and the owner there gives him less money. Seeing this, Shuye gets angry, but Wu Shu stops him. Meanwhile, Wu Shu's mom, while cleaning her room, picks up her diary and starts reading it when the doorbell rings. Wu Shu's mom opens the door, and it is the landlady who says, what problem is going on with Wu Shu, that she is not able to pay the money? Wu Shu's mom says, there is some problem indeed. When she leaves, Wu Shu's mom reads the diary and calls Wu Shu. Where are you? Wu Shu says, I am leaving the office. After the call ends, Shuye says, you have become an expert. They both smile at this and start kissing. Now, Wu Shu goes home and is having dinner with her mom, so mom tells her everything. Wu Shu says, the payment will be a little late. I will return your money. Mom then asks about the diary. So she says, when I like something, I note it down. Just then, a message from Shuye arrives there. I am missing you. Mom sees this and doesn't say anything. The next day, when Wu Shu leaves, her mom follows her and sees Wu Shu going with Shuye, sitting on a bicycle. In the next scene, Wu Shu's mom is waiting for her. She sees from the window Shuye dropping her off. Mom sits on the couch. Wu Shu is shocked to see her mom. Now, we are shown a scene from one day before, where Shuye is outside the bar writing about today's offer. Meanwhile, Wu Shu is talking to Lan about today's investor. Wu Shu says, this is very important for us. Gao also thanks Lan for the investor. Wu Shu says, I will go out and invite people. Lan says, I will tell Zhao to get you ready. Wu Shu says, okay. Then Zhao comes there and does Wu Shu's makeup. Wu Shu, now ready, goes out and invites people with the offer, but no one pays attention to her. Just then, some goon-type boys arrive there. Wu Shu takes them inside and herself goes out. After a little while, the investors arrive. Gao says, people like performances, that's why they come to watch. Now Dong starts the performance, so those boys say, what kind of performance is this? There's supposed to be dancing here. Just then, Wu Shu brings a customer inside, so the boys say, show us a dance. Wu Shu says, we don't dance here. That person, getting angry, pushes Wu Shu. Seeing this, Shuye hits them, and a very big fight happens there. In the next scene, everyone is at the police station. The police officer asks the reason, so those boys say, this girl said there would be dancing there, but nothing like that happened. When we complained, these people started hitting us. Wu Shu says, it's nothing like that. Then she tells the whole story. One officer doesn't know about comedy. Gao tells him everything and says, you are also invited. Now the officer asks for evidence, so Shuye says, I have a video. The officer says, okay, call the guardian. Gao's wife comes and takes them all away. Now Wu Shu and Shuye are sitting outside. Wu Shu is a little tense. She says, my mom will be worried. Shuye says, don't worry, and rubs her injury. In the next scene, Shuye comes to drop Wu Shu home, so Wu Shu says, I am scared. I wasn't even this scared at the police station. Shuye says, your mom must be asleep. Nothing will happen. As Wu Shu goes inside, her mom goes inside to sleep. The next day, Wu Shu is sitting quietly with her mom, so mom says, I have found out. You are cheating on Hao. Wu Shu says, I am not cheating. We broke up. That's why I am dating Shuye. Mom says, you left such a good boy and chose him? And what does he even do? Wushu says, he does stand-up comedy. Mom says, is that even a job? Hearing this, Wushu leaves from there. Now Wushu's mom meets Hao and, giving Hao some gift, says, I had come to talk about your marriage. But Wushu, well, she has already made her own arrangements. If Wushu comes to you again, will you accept her? Hearing this, he is shocked and, making an excuse of a meeting, leaves from there. Now Shaolin arrives there and, in the course of conversation, tells her mom about Wushu's resignation. Wushu's mom is shocked and says she wants to go to the manager. Pang, seeing all this, messages Wushu. Wushu takes her mom home. Going to that house, she packs her belongings and is just going to the room to get medicine when she falls. In the next scene, Wushu is sitting sadly at the bar. They are all talking to Lan on a video call. Wushu tells Lan about herself, and Lan asks about the investor. She says, because of the fight, everything got ruined. Meanwhile, Shuya receives information about a stand-up comedy competition, and they think about performing. In the next scene, Wushu comes home and finds her mom lying unconscious. She takes her mom to the hospital, and there she finds out Wushu's mom has second-stage cancer. She is crying when she receives a call. She thinks it's Dad's call, but it is Hao. Wushu tells Hao everything. Now Hao comes there and is talking to the doctor, who is his friend. He, the friend doctor, takes Hao to a senior doctor. In the next scene, Shiya is in the van watching a video of a stand-up competition. Now Shiya calls Wushu and asks to meet. Wushu refuses and tells him about her mom. Now Hao and Wushu are talking when Shiya also arrives there, and a doctor comes and asks Hao about his mother-in-law. Hao says she has gone for tests. Saying this, he goes with the doctor. Now Wushu explains to Shiya, don't misunderstand anything. Shiya says, I know. After that, Shiya is buying some things from CVS when Hao also comes. Shiya says, I have taken everything. You don't take it. Hao says, okay, and takes some things. In the next scene, Shiya performs and also makes rounds to the hospital. One day, Shiya sees a competition ticket in Wushu's diary, and Hao also sees this. One night, Shiya and Wushu are together, and Wushu thanks Shiya and says, you have done so much for me. Shiya, embarrassed, says, don't lie. I haven't done anything. Wushu says, you are in front of me. That is enough for me, and asks him to come to the hospital tomorrow. Now Shiya is alone and is about to smoke. Then Wushu's mom brings him to the terrace to talk and is smoking. Shiya says, you are so different from my mom. Wushu's mom says, I want to see my daughter in a good life, so you get a stable job and be happy. Now Wushu goes to the room, but her mom is not there. Wushu, searching for her mom, goes to the terrace where Shiya and her mom are talking. Wushu, hearing their conversation, gets sad and leaves. In the next scene, Wushu's mom tells her to take a shower, but Wushu is not agreeing. So Shiya gives her his van key and tells her to take a shower. Wushu is showering when the water runs out. She comes out to check, and Wushu's old colleagues are just going to the ward to meet her mom. Wushu goes inside and tells Shiya to check. Now Wushu's mom thanks them, so Miss Hu says, it was our duty to do all this, and gives Wushu some money. Wushu refuses to take it, but Miss Hu tells her to take it and whispers in Wushu's mom's ear, Hao's mom gave this soup. Saying this, they all leave. Wushu goes after them to return the money, but they refuse and leave. Wushu starts crying seeing this. When she goes back, her mom is also crying, and she shouts and tells Wushu about her life. Wushu says, I will live a good life. I will work in my profession and earn a lot of money. I will not live a life like yours. Shuya overhears their conversation. Now Shuya, after leaving from there, was realizing Wushu's words, and Wushu is also talking to Lan about all this, about how she found out that her life is already planned and Shuya is not accepting this. Lan says, will you break up now? Wushu hadn't thought anything. She says, first, let me confirm for myself what I want to do. To this, Lan says yes. In the next scene, Gao calls Shiya for a drink and tells him to find a new place to park the van. When Shiya asks the reason, Gao says, I am not continuing the bar. Will the new owner even let me keep this place or not? Shiya says, we should message in the group and then solve this problem together. In the next scene, everyone is having dinner and they ask Wushu about her mom. Wushu tells them about her mom. So everyone says, we will come to meet her. But Wushu refuses. Now everyone sits down to eat hot pots, where everyone gets emotional. Dong, now emotional, says, this was one place where I found peace. Now if this place is also gone, where will we go? And however late I came, I knew Gao was waiting for me. But then he talks about the competition, that we will perform well. So Gao says, I will not do this. I am going back to my hometown. Dong scolds him, so Wushu says, he is doing this for personal reasons, and it's not certain for me either whether I will come or not. Hearing this, everyone sadly drinks and eats. Now Gao and Dong leave, and Wushu is just about to leave from there when Shuya hugs her and talks about breaking up, which shocks her, and she asks, "Why and what are you doing?" Then Shuya says, "I don't want to suppress my emotions. We both have different paths." Wushu sadly says, "You said it right. This will be better," and saying, "Okay," leaves from there. Now Wushu is in the hospital with her mom and dad. Just then, Lan arrives there. They both are sitting outside talking. Wushu tells her everything. Lan, in a funny style, says to her, "Your life has become blank." Wushu's dad overhears their conversation. The next day, Wushu and her dad are sitting. Dad asks Wushu about stand-up comedy, so Wushu tells Dad. Then Dad says, "You should go to the competition." Wushu is shocked. Then Dad tells Wushu his story of how your mom and I met and says, "Do whatever you want to do. I will support you." In the next scene, Wushu and Lan go to the competition. Dong and Shuya also come there, and Gao also arrives. They are very happy to see each other. Then the competition starts, and Wushu is sitting in the waiting room, and their Chung comes and introduces a woman to Wushu. He tells Wushu she is the producer here. Now it's Wushu's turn. She goes on stage and is performing. Her mom and dad are also there. After Wushu's performance, everyone is happy. In the next scene, Wushu is performing in the second round. Now, because of that show, Wushu was becoming famous. Everyone is very happy because Shuya and Wushu get selected. In the next scene, Wushu thinks of buying the bar by taking money from Lan. She calls the bar owner and asks about the bar, so the owner says, "I am selling the bar to someone else." Lan explains to him. He tells them to meet up, and then also calls Hao to meet. The next day, Hao meets the owner first. Hao tells him, "I will give extra money." The owner says, "Why do you want to buy this?" Hao says, "The girl I like works here, and for the sake of her dream, I want to take this bar." Now Hao and Wushu come downstairs, and the owner goes to them. He is ready to offer even more money. The owner tells Hao this, so Hao goes downstairs in anger. Then Hao and Wushu are surprised to see each other because they were both fighting for it. Now they think of getting the bar together. They go to the owner and buy the bar at the previous rate. Now everyone goes to the bar and does their respective work. Dong also arrives there. Wushu and Hao both work like friends. Now Wushu's mom goes to ask Shuya for the van. In the next scene, it's time for the competition. Shuya performs, and when it's time for the final, Wushu and one other person are selected. Shuya is now standing alone on the stage, so Wushu says, "Why didn't you perform well?" Shuya says, "Do you remember we started the program to tell people our thoughts? I said what I felt was right." Then Wushu says, "Thank you for making me realize." Shuya says, "I understood all this after talking to your mom." Wushu, surprised, says, "When?" Shuya says, "Your mom came to me to get the van and she wants to travel the whole world." Wushu says, "How?" Then Shuya says, "It was her childhood dream and she had trapped herself, and now she wants to travel the whole world." Then Shuya says, "I have regretted it after breaking up with you." Wushu nervously says, "I still don't know what I want. We will talk later." In the next scene, Shuya is cleaning the van when Hao taunts him. He says, "We are starting the bar, and we have signed you too." Shuya says, "Okay," and then tells Hao to clean. Shuya says, "I am going to pursue Wushu for the first time." Hao says, "Me too." In the next scene, the bar starts, and only Hao's colleagues come there. Hao says to all of them, "Today, drinks are on me, and now, you all will have to come here." Wushu and Hao are both at the counter. Lan goes to Shuya and says, "Look, how good those two look together. If you let it go on like this, they will even get together, and you will be left right here." In the next scene, the final day of the competition arrives, where Wushu is alone in the makeup room, and an actress comes there, praises her, and says, "You, come on my show," and gives her a business card. Now Wushu's name is announced, and she goes with her new dress, and then she remembers her high school image. And we see a scene from the past when Lan tells her to go on stage without makeup. Wushu says, "I like all this. Why should I change myself because of someone else's words? And who said that a girl can't achieve things while being beautiful?" Now the present scene is shown. She goes on stage wearing a red dress with a smile. Thus, Wushu's story ends. Here, this drama has a happy ending.